The next artists that I'm going to speak about are a collaborative team, Bradley McCallum and Jacqueline Tarry. They've been an artist team since 1998 and have worked and exhibited globally, seeking to surface and discuss issues revolving around marginalized members of society. Their work, which moves fluidly between large-scale public projects, performative sculpture, painting, photography, video, and self-portraiture, challenges audiences to face issues of race and social justice in communities, history, and the family. Embedded within their work, whether it is of a historical, personal, or civic-based nature, is their standing as an interracial couple. Recent shows have included installation in the New York Historical Society's group exhibition called Legacies: Contemporary Artists Reflect on Slavery. McCallum and Tarry have been commissioned to complete the Malcolm X Memorial for the intersection of New York's Central Park and Malcolm X Boulevard. The couple lives and works in Brooklyn, New York. McCallum holds an MFA from Yale, and Tarry completed the Whitney ISP program in 2003. And the piece that they're going to focus on is called Endurance. And I'm going to show you both images and video. It's a series of both life-size color photographs and a video that together document a 25-hour endurance performance with homeless Seattle teenagers. The portraits were taken minutes before each youth took part in the endurance performance, and after they gave their testimony during an audio-taped interview. The performance took place on a Seattle public sidewalk from 6 p.m. August 5th, 2002, until 6:59 p.m. the following day. The action was simple. 26 homeless youths stood still looking directly into the camera for an hour without speaking. As each completed the hour-long performance, there was a transitional moment in which the next youth walked into the frame of the camera and then directly behind the first performer. They overlapped for a few moments, and then the initial performer walked off camera while their replacement stepped forward into the same position, again looking at the camera. As they stand still for the hour, the video is rendered with a time-lapsed effect in which traffic and pedestrians pass by and light fades into night and back again. During the transition from one youth performer to the next, the video is slowed down. The audio tracks on the video combine street sounds with edited sequences of the interviews that were recorded prior to the performance. Although the performance occurred in a public setting, it was not audience-oriented. The video camera was placed across the street with minimal production equipment so that the general public walked past the youth without acknowledging their presence. The video captures the theoretical invisibility of the youth, and the poignancy of this evidence is accentuated when combined with their testimony. The goal of standing motionless for an hour is a significant act of endurance for youth that face drug addiction, attention deficit, and health-related issues. The act of standing still combines two ideas. Each youth that participated in this collective action dedicated their participation to the memory of friends who died from life on the streets, and thus stood for those individuals who were absent. They were also engaging in a quiet act of civil disobedience in opposition to the Seattle civility laws that make standing or sitting motionless a crime. McCallum and Tarry were commissioned by the Seattle Arts Commission Arts Up program to work with a group called Peace on the Streets by Kids from the Streets, PSKS, a homeless youth advocacy organization, to create a work that gives voice to the issues that face the homeless youth in Seattle. The artwork has received major financial support from the National Endowment for the Arts. As the project unfolded, the daily challenges these youth face became more evident, and so did the need for them to have a forum to recount their experiences. A common thread among their recorded testimonies was the loss of someone close due to the nature of living on the streets. Coincidentally and tragically, on March 20th, 2002, one of the three audio interns, Stephen Greenberg, aka Filth, whose energy and participation had been critical to the early phase of endurance, died of a heroin overdose. 2 weeks after Filth's memorial service, PSKS suffered a second loss of Nicholas Heilhowski, aka Rooster, as a result of homicide through street violence. Rooster, a core member of PSKS, was in the final stage of transitioning off the streets. Their untimely deaths have inevitably shaped the McCallum and Tarry intervention and the underlying metaphor of standing for someone who was lost. McCallum and Tarry have established an education fund for homeless youth with the Seattle Foundation by donating a percentage of their sales. PSKS, the homeless youth organization that originally partnered with the artist, is managing this fund and has already awarded the first of several grants. And I'm going to switch to a video that shows, that actually, whoops, that's my email. I'm not supposed to see that. I never want to see email again in my life. Okay, so this actually lets you hear the voices of the youth. I'm going to play just a little bit of this.
When I was homeless in Spring Hill, the one thing I would never do for money, drugs, place to stay, food, anything, was sell my body. I think because I've given up everything about myself, I give up my soul. You know, my body's not a piece of candy that I get to someone. That's the one thing that I can actually keep, and no one can take it from me. It wasn't my body, it was my soul that I would be giving up. It doesn't matter where you came from. I came from a good family. It's just, it doesn't distinguish them. It takes a hold of you no matter who you are or where you came from. The only thing that really sucks about heroin is it takes your memory. And I really don't remember a lot of things, a lot of specifics, like feeling. And I really don't remember a lot of things, a lot of specifics, like feeling.
And now I'm going to show you, they also took these formal portraits of these youth, and this is one of their exhibitions that have shown these portraits. And some examples of the portraits with the names of the subjects. This piece also showed, the video is showing at the lab in San Francisco. It's a very, very powerful piece to watch. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about the yes men. The yes men agree their way into the fortified compounds of commerce, ask questions, and then smuggle out the stories of their hijinks to provide a public glimpse at the behind-the-scenes world of business. In other words, the yes men are team players, but they play for the opposing team. The particular piece that they gave details on was a piece that involved ExxonMobil. Imposters posing as ExxonMobil and National Petroleum Council, NPC, representatives delivered an outrageous keynote speech to 300 oilmen at the Geo Expo, Canada's largest oil conference, held at Stampede Park in Calgary, Alberta. The speech was billed, actually I'm realizing now this is a news report because it said today, so this was on the news. The speech was billed beforehand by the Geo Expo organizers as the major highlight of this year's conference, which had 20,000 attendees. In it, the MPC rep, in quotes, was expected to deliver the long-awaited conclusions of a study commissioned by U.S. Energy Secretary